Well, math camp is really fun. Like you're always learning even if you're not in class. And then all the counselors, like they're really nice, and they like they like the same things that you do since they're only like 5 or 6 years older than us. So it's really nice to have like counselors that are almost just like us.
The goal of the math camp is to try to encourage young minds that are interested in math. They're trying to show that there is more to math than what you just learn in schools, because a lot of what you learn in schools is here's an equation, here's how you plug in numbers, there's your answer. But this is delving deeper into math and showing how math changes your way of thinking. So not only does it help you solve math problems, it helps you solve other problems.
Math camp is a lot of fun. All the math problems they give you are really, really interesting and fun to solve. And you always have other people around you, and it's like very supportive, and the counselors are really nice. And during free time you can do like whatever you want, and class is usually really interesting too.
Products. So we'd be justified in listing those 4 guys as part of the products. Because I have a feeling, I wonder, most of us maybe when we were...
What were some things you noticed walking around in the groups, okay? So you were saying that they got confused about using squares rather than... Okay, all right. Okay, anybody else? What did you notice walking around the groups, with the individual groups?
And you went through the process. Wendy used to work for the first time together and design a lesson for the students. Then one of the teachers teaches the lesson.
I think you need to know, like, back to the, I'll go through the quick, but like, I think you do need to know a lot of math, because I'm...
Just one word about it is really hard to find someone all the way from Japan to consult with us. And I was really happy we were able to do that. So I'm going to turn it over now to Hiroka Warshauer, who is
on your feet to respond. You should put that in the lesson. Okay? Try it again. Hey, who's the reporter, write down what does this time say correctly.
Do I 1,200 or 12,000?
I think that some curriculums are just skills-based and some curriculums are just problem-based, and this one, I think it melds both of those things together. So the kids are getting the skills and they're figuring out story problems and understanding, why things are happening, so it kind of melds both of those together.
So your question is it like a horizontal or a vertical line?
The thing that I like the most about the Mathworks curriculum is the students are really understanding why they're doing the things that they're doing as they're working on their math problems. It's not just how to do something, but they're learning why.
I'm used to seeing this as an X and a Y, right? It gets confusing with its F's and P's. So if I plug in a 1, 2 to the first power is what?
Because a quadrilateral just has to have 4 sides with line segments and it's closed. Is it a parallelogram?
Yes.
Because opposite sides are?
I've enjoyed working with the Mathworks this year. They've added a lot of algebra into the program. We have an opportunity to extend and elaborate on what our 7th graders are going to be doing as 8th graders and carried into the Algebra 1 book. It also gives the students a real life examples as to where they're going to be working with these problems It also helps them to elaborate and extend on some of the things, their ingenuity questions and in their investigation questions, our higher level thinking questions. So I've enjoyed it very much.
So we're just going to be taking a real life situation like we just did.
What I like about the curriculum in Mathworks is it seems to reach all my students. Part of it is teacher directed and part of it is student exploration. I have times where some of those kids that need the extra help, I can go and help them while they're exploring. I'm also allowed to have freedom as a teacher to direct my students during the lesson.
The Poland competition is a competition that takes place in Hong Kong. It brings together close to 40 different teams, and they come together to take a set of examination tests. We have a team of 4 young people. It is restricted to children who are in junior high school. The primary purpose of this Poland competition is that mathematics is really a universal language, and that young people throughout the world are excited about learning about mathematics, and that they can come together and using mathematics, I suppose, as a reason to come together, but really to learn about what it means to have an excitement for learning.
Well, the Mathworks students are presently preparing for the Intel competition as well as the Siemens competition, where we participated last year. Personally, I consider that both competitions, Siemens and Intel, are great opportunities for our students to present their research and communicate with other students who are doing research at their same level, as well as to professional mathematicians, professional scientists working in different fields, so they acquire skills in how to present their research to different people who work in science but not necessarily mathematicians, people who are mathematicians. And especially I would emphasize in the interaction they have with other students who are doing research.
In Mathworks, we want to teach students to think deeply of simple things, to explore problems deeply, and I think it's the joy of mathematical exploration and discovery that's one of the most exciting parts of the program. Another very important part is that Mathworks is about more than just learning math. It's about learning teamwork and about working together, about explaining problems to one another. And when students come to realize that when they can teach someone else, that they will learn the idea so much better, it's a really satisfying experience.
In the math camp, my philosophy of teaching is that the kids should be presented with problems and questions and let them explore it. Let them think about questions and individually and in groups. And I'd really like to see what they try. I'm not so much concerned with answers, more about how they approach problems, the pictures that they draw. I love to see a kid struggling with a problem and all of a sudden, boom, it figures out how to do it. They realize this is what math is all about. Math is not about formulas or coming up with quick answers, but it's about understanding and explaining very complicated problems.
The first day you meet these kids, they have no idea that they have to learn how to work together, and they don't. And they get annoyed with one another, and they're like, well, you're here and I'm there, and why do we have to work on the same thing? Why can't we just split up the problems and go? And by the end of the 6 weeks, they've learned how they all work. And they know just the details of how they're gonna react to certain things. So they work so much better together. And then they don't care anymore if they only got 3 proofs done, because they did such a great job on them. And they're proud of themselves. And they're proud that they can do it together.
In high school, you learn the basic stuff like algebra and calculus and stuff like that. But in math camp, you learn why, the reasons behind everything. Just learning the concepts without actually learning the reasons is just plain memorization. While at math camp, you learn the reasons behind the concepts of mathematics, and that makes it more challenging.
I first heard about math camp from one of my parents' friends. I thought it would be an interesting experience just to come and do something with my summer. So I came, last year was my first year, and I had a lot of fun because I got to meet new people who were interested in math and learn about number theory and Mathematica and all the other different classes. It's nice to see how different people come up with different approaches to the same problem, different angles and ways of looking at it.
Probably the most enjoyable part of math camp is the weekend activities, among other things. I think one of the main strengths of math camp is that it's not necessarily all about math all the time.
Weekend activity is definitely a time to relax as well, to enjoy the exploration of nature a lot of times, to be able to be in different settings. And in those settings, students can derive inspirations.
All of my summers at HSMC have really taught me how to think. And I know it's really hard to teach someone how to think, but it just exposes you to many different methods of approaching a problem and not being afraid when you get stuck or being afraid of making mistakes. So it's this problem-solving resiliency that will help me going forward, especially if I'm thinking of majoring in math, computer science, or statistics in college. So I think I'm going to need that problem-solving background to go into any of those fields.
HSMC and school are different in a lot of ways, I think, almost in every way, I would say. So one thing is that the people that you meet at HSMC, they love math, which is not something you see a lot at school. And so to come to a place where everyone around me actually liked math, was good at math, questioned things, and thought deeply about things that they were doing, I think that was really significant for me as a person, and it really helped me develop into someone that thought more rather than just did things.
In addition to being able to really expand your perspective on math through the classes here, the classes really diverge from the typical areas of math that you would encounter both in school and in competition. So it's helped me to really understand just the vastness of the world of math. You also get a chance to bond with some of the most supportive people you've ever met in your life. This is like the environment of Mathworks Camp, and you have all these opportunities to have fun.
So I think at HSMC, something that we stress a lot, especially in study group and in class, is that it's really not a competition to finish the problems. And I personally find this really rewarding and really valuable to be thinking about collaboration. How can I work with my group mates to solve this problem together? Maybe we could learn a different solution if we talked amongst ourselves instead of each working on our own problems in four corners of the room.
Math isn't just math itself. It's so many different things that come together. So if we continue to apply it and show people how we're applying it and how this is going to help for the future and create this new generation of inventors and scientists and mathematicians, then I think that'll be great for a better tomorrow.